Yeah, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Sitara's weekly seminar series on technology and development. And I just like to, on a personal note, I would like to thank Radheshyam because among often we have friends who come and speak and they agree. And I've known Radheshyam for a very long time. He's been a very old friend, and I'm really grateful that you have agreed to come and speak to us. And I will leave it at that and invite Gladson to introduce our speaker, and then it's over to Radheshyam. Want me to hold?
No, sir. So, evening wishes, everyone. So, it's a privilege for me to introduce our speaker for the day. Dr. Radheshyam Jadhav is a senior journalist and social science researcher with over 2 decades of experience. He has been a fellow at the University of Oxford and Nanyang Technological University, Singapore, and a research scholar at the London School of Economics and Political Science. He is a recipient of over 25 national and international fellowships and awards, including the prestigious Ramnath Goenka Excellence in Journalism Award twice and the Statesman Award for Rural Reporting. Dr. Jadhav has contributed to several research projects with global institutions. He is also a certified Google trainer in fact checking and author of 3 books, including The Harvesting Hope in the Suicide Zone, Women Who Challenged Drought, Death, and Destiny, and Lives on the Edge, Tuberculosis in Marginalized Populations. We're really happy to have you, sir, and we are all excited to hear from you. And I wish happy learning to you all. Thank you. Thank you. It's not moving. This one, click on stay. You can scan it.
So, hang over.
It's loading. Okay, this is the first slide. Except PhD student, just ignore what I'm saying. You don't have to pay attention to this. Why I wanted to put this because what I'm going to present and what I know, you should know how do I know and why I'm saying this. So, what is the theoretical framework for my presentation? The paradigm I'm using to look at these things, which I'm going to present, is a critical journalistic paradigm. And of course, when it comes to ontology, I believe that realities are socially constructed. So, there is no positivism here. There's no one reality uh, which exists. That's what I believe, and it's what will reflect in my presentation. Uh, I'm going to fall now if I don't. Okay. When it comes to epistemology, I'm talking about the power dynamics in the society. So, how power dynamics play and how oppressive structures function, how intersectionality works when it comes to sugarcane cutters, and methodology and methods, of course, are journalistic. So, as I said, just except PhD students, you can just forget what I said. Let's start with a story of a woman called Lata. She comes from Beed district in Maharashtra. Beed is one of the districts in Marathwada, those who are not from Maharashtra. And Marathwada is a region and Beed is district. When she was 6 months pregnant, she went for sugarcane cutting in Akluz. Akluz is in Solapur district. And of course, accompanied by her husband. And she continued to cut sugarcane. So there is a division of labor when you go for sugarcane cutting. Men are supposed to cut sugarcane. They are skilled. They are trained in that. And women are supposed to bundle that sugarcane, take it on their head, and load it into a truck or a trolley. So it's the weight they carry on the head is around from 15 to 30 kgs. Okay. So when she was doing this work, she was 6 months pregnant. After 3 months, she delivered a baby girl. There was no question of institutional delivery. Delivered a baby girl in a field. And after 5 days of rest, he resumed the work. Why should resume the work? Because every day you take a break from your work, you have to pay a fine of anything between 500 rupees to 1000 rupees. And that is a huge amount for a sugarcane cutter. So resumed her work and to put her baby, she raised this temporary shelter, this tiny shelter. If you go to sugarcane fields in Maharashtra, now next sugarcane season will start in October, you will see these kinds of temporary shelters to keep their babies. In the rumble of tractors and trolleys, she continued work. She was not even able to feed her baby on time. And one day, when she was busy in loading bundles of sugarcane in the trolley, the trolley driver was not aware that there was a baby laying there. He reversed the tractor and rolled over this shelter. When she came back, there was a lump of blood and flesh. Mukadam told her that whatever has happened, and he resumed the work because there was a target to be completed. Sugarcane had to be loaded and taken to sugar mill. He was in deep shock, unable to work, and she was told that you can take a break, but then you have to pay fine 500 rupees for every day. There was no police complaint registered because the contractor said that if you go to police, we all are going to land in trouble and probably our work will be halted, work will be stopped. And then probably um, this contractor is going to sign a contract, not sign as such, but no contractor is going to hire you for next season. She continued to work. The baby was cremated. In many cases, uh, these workers are not even allowed to go back to their villages or take bodies to the villages for cremation or for burial because there's a fear that if they go back to villages, then probably they are not going to come back. There are hundreds and thousands of such cases which go unreported. Neither media, neither police, neither government, neither sugar mills pay any attention to what is happening in the fields. So this is how uh, actual operations happen. You have to carry this bundle, climb this ladder, temporary ladder. With one hand, you have to hold this rope, load this in with trolley, and holding this rope, you have to jump down. Imagine a woman who has delivered a baby for 5 days is doing this work. India's sugar economy stands on the shoulders of hundreds and thousands of sugarcane cutters who are symbolically annihilated from all the institutional operations and records. When it comes to Maharashtra, it was in 1924 in Ahmednagar district, what we call Ahilyanagar today. Belapur Road Company was started by a British officer, Joseph K. It's in 1924, right? And then in 1945, in Nagar, again in Ahmednagar, Ahilyanagar district, first cooperative sugar mill came up and it was commissioned around 1951. When the sugar factories were coming up, you'll find the references in writings of Dr. Dhananjay Rao Gadgil, who played a key role in establishing or putting up this first cooperative sugar mill in Pravaranagar. And the records say that who is going to come and work in the field and cut sugarcane? And of course, people from the drought prone areas who don't have any other sources of livelihood. So we'll find the records right from 1945. As you can see here, Uttar Pradesh. Okay, it's next slide. Uh, Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra are the two prominent states, and these are the central government's figure, a CACP report, which was published this year, December 2024. Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh uh, are the states which produce maximum number of sugarcane and also sugar. Okay. This data you'll find in the report, the link which I'll share with you. So, along with Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh, there are other states which produce sugarcane, but these two states are the prominent states. Now, I want you to pay attention to this slide. I'll just translate it into in English. I didn't get time to translate the entire slide, but these are the numbers shared by Sugar Commissioner of Maharashtra. So these are the divisions in Maharashtra. These are the cooperative mills which were operational last season. These are private mills which were operational last season, and this are the total number. This is the total number, and then the extract rate and total crushing and sugar production. You can see. Just pay attention to this number. Maharashtra, where the cooperative movement started, okay, there are more private mills operating in the state compared to cooperative mills. This has something to do with what we are discussing. Now, I'm finding it. No, no, no. I'll do. I'll do. Pankaj, don't do it. So this is a graph. In, can do that? Okay. I'm not here to stand on one place and talk. So that's the yeah. So you can see this number in 2010. About 20% of total operational sugar mills in Maharashtra were privately owned. The number went to 46% in 2019, and today you have more than 50% of mills in Maharashtra which are owned and run by private companies, entrepreneurs, or leaders, whatever. But the number of cooperative mills you see in this graph, though they are cooperative, many of these mills are actually run by private people, though they call themselves cooperative. So the number is much more than what we see on the board. Okay, so let's try to understand how this entire chain works. Okay. When the crushing season starts, generally in October, sugar mills contact mukadams, or we call them contractors. These contractors have a network in villages. So sugar mills pay them advance money. These contractors go to villages and then they pay money in advance to a man sugarcane cutter. And when they sign the contract, this is not only a man, but man and his wife or partner are considered as a single unit, what they call quota in Marathi. So if I'm a sugarcane cutter, the contractor is coming to me and he's giving money to me. This money is for me and my wife. we are going to work for him. Okay. Once I take that advance, I'm like a bonded labor. Though don't we don't call it, or government is not ready to recognize this, but it's like a bonded labor system. Once I take that money from him, and many times the money comes in lump sum or in installments. The money which comes in installments uh, never stays with the family, right? So once we are in the contract, contractor is going to take us wherever he wants to. I don't have any right to question him where we are going. Many of these women are not even aware which places they went, for which sugar mill they were cutting sugarcane, right? Every year, there's a committee which decides what amount the couple is going to get. So, per ton amount is decided. So, last season it was like per ton sugarcane cut, they are going to get 367 rupees. Okay. Now, with this rate, with 67 per ton, you can imagine the labor involved and whether they are able to repay that money ranging from 50,000 to 1 lakh or 1 lakh 50,000 rupees in one season. So, if I'm not able to pay that money, I'm supposed to work for the same contractor next season. No, this is but a messy thing. State government says that there are around 9 to 10 lakh sugarcane cutters, half of them, of course, women. Other reports, they put this number to 25 lakh. There's no record, no official record, which is existing in Maharashtra, that how many sugarcane cutters exist in the state. Because they are not on record, they are deprived of government benefits and schemes. Many times, a single person can also sign a contract, but then, of course, the amount which you are going to get is less. Uh, why beet is hotspot? Because majority of sugarcane cutters are coming from this particular district. Yeah. Probably this is one of the largest internal migration that is happening in Maharashtra. So for 6 months, they are going to leave their village and they're going to move around in Western Maharashtra, many times in North Karnataka. They travel in sugarcane belt. Point to remember here is that these sugarcane cutters are not just daily wagers or sugarcane cutters, but they are also farmers. So they have their own land, but for seasonal migration, they convert themselves into sugarcane cutters. So they are farmers and sugarcane cutters as well. Of course, Maharashtra has highest number of dams, but the irrigation potential is not achieved, especially when it comes to Vidarbha and Marathwada region. Perennial drought is something we have witnessed all these years, and now unseasonal rains have added to the problem. Many times, when they migrate in drought years, they don't return to their villages. They continue to work in Western Maharashtra or other parts because they don't have anything to do when they go back to their villages. Every sugarcane season, you will see the number of child marriages in these areas are multiplied. There are two reasons. One, families are not very keen to take their girls to the places where they are going for sugarcane cutting because of safety reasons, and of course, they can't keep their girls back home. So there are villages in these regions where you will not see a single family there. Only old people will be there in villages. Otherwise, the households will be locked. One option to get rid of responsibility is to marry the girl. And at the age of 13 or 14, girls are being married. Interestingly, and I would request you to visit these areas before sugarcane crushing season starts, and you will see that the local politicians organize mass marriages, saying that we are helping these farmers to get their daughters married, and these marriages are sponsored by local politicians. What is the identity of these women sugarcane cutters? Who are they? Majority of these sugarcane cutters come from Dalit and OBC communities. In their villages, many of the landless farmers work on daily wages with the landlords or uh, village landlords, of course. But the problem is that because of your caste identity, the tag of the caste you have, they are going to treat you not as a daily wager, but as a full-time servant. Consider I'm a sugarcane cutter and I go out for looking for a daily wage. The person is going to tell me, okay, I'm going to give you some work in my field, but also you have to do some other duties for me, right? I'm not going to get any money for that. And second is about dignity. The lump sum amount the sugarcane cutters get is huge for them, which they are not going to get working in villages. Just continuing Lata's story, she was sharing one anecdote. She said that during one sugarcane cutting season, um, she got some money from husband and she bought a new sari for a village festival. And she was wearing that sari during the village festival. And the cost of that sari was similar to the sari which the landlord's wife was wearing. And that was her dream, that wearing that costly sari. And it is possible for her because she can get rid of caste discrimination and oppression when she steps out of the village. And for rest of 6 months, she can uh, continue to work in her field. This is a profile. This is a profile of majority of sugarcane cutters. The way woman's body is incorporated into labor is something which you can understand reading her profile. So she works like a machine, and job is to work sugarcane and produce children. You would have read the case that in Sambhajinagar, earlier Aurangabad district, there was a sugarcane cutter Lankabai. When I reported this thing, she was 38, and by that time, she had 17 pregnancies. At the age of 38, she already had 17 pregnancies. Because men want sons or number of sons to take forward legacy, whatever the family legacy or whatever they want to see. Yeah. Next one. She has no single identity. If we try to understand the oppressive system with one single identity, she as a farmer, laborer, mother, wife, a caste, gender. Gender and sex are two different things. Gender is a social construct, sex is biological. Yeah. So, yeah, next one. I want to underline that intersectionality plays a major role in oppressive systems because if you are going to look at things from one single axis or using one single paradigm is not going to help to understand the entire scenario. As I said, realities are socially constructed and are intersecting. Until and unless you understand what are the oppressive structures she faces as a woman, as a farmer, as a laborer, as a mother, as a wife, will not be able to connect the dots in the oppressive system. Yeah. Very briefly, so what is intersectionality? How intersectionality comes into play? You must be knowing that there are four eye, eyes of operation, but I feel there are two additional eyes in this system, in this structure. Of course, ideologies shape your values, and values reflect in your moralities and ethics. Being a woman in these villages is like standing at the lowest ladder of the axis of operation. So all these intersecting operations you will have to face, you will have to witness. I'll just give one example. So Lata's daughter is also sugarcane cutter. She married her daughter early, and she was cutting sugarcane with her husband in Sangli. And one day, when she finished her work and she was busy doing something, and her husband called her. Her mother-in-law wanted something, and she said, "Just give me a couple of minutes, and I'll do that thing." He thrashed her till she fell unconscious, and then he made her to eat human feces. Why? Because she was raising question and she was not responding to him immediately, and she had to be hospitalized. And then the simple thing he did was that he just abandoned her and left her on her own. Other people took her to Lata's house. Ideologically, this ideological operation exists, prevails in all kinds of frameworks around us, consciously, subconsciously. uh, these are the frameworks which we have accepted as norms. When it comes to institutional operation, as I said, it's a symbolic annihilation. Mills don't recognize them. They are absent on the government records. In communities and societies, they are non-existent. And in the families, they are worthless. They are just converted into working machine. When it comes to international operation, violence and abuse and worthlessness is communicated to you every day. It results into internalizing oppression, and that I think is the most dangerous thing that can happen to you, because once you internalize oppression, you are going to a passive and submissive mode of self, and your assertive self, your self-worth, you are going to lose that at every point, every step of your life. There are some women like Deepa Wagmare who tried to get out of this vicious circle, but then it's a nexus of a kind. The moment you try to do something and you want to get out of this or step out of this, you again drag back, pull back. Yeah. So your ideation doesn't matter. Even when you read newspapers, when we are reading about drought or unseasonal rains and farmers' agitation, when we say farmer, right now in your mind, it's man who comes as a farmer. We don't even imagine women as farmers, though 80% of agriculture work is done by women in fields. And of course, informational operation. It essentially means that what is happening to your body, you are not even aware of it. So when you go to a hospital for hysterectomy surgery, you're not even told by a doctor what operation he's going to conduct, which parts of which part of your body is going to be operated. And I'll come to this particular issue in the next slide. As we discussed, there's no break, no weekly off. These are not concept. These concepts are completely absent. Uh, there's no mechanism to raise voice, to register a complaint. You go to a village for sugarcane cutting, you pluck a fruit or get a bucket of water for somebody's well, and that person going to abuse you, going to beat you, sexually abuse you, and you have to suffer. There are no police complaints. Hardly you will read any police complaint registered by a woman sugarcane cutter or sugarcane cutters in the villages where they go for sugarcane cutting. And of course, living conditions are not less than hell. Nobody is going to take responsibility. Government says that it has nothing to do with this. It is between sugar mills and sugarcane cutters. Sugar mills say that we have already paid amount to a contractor and it is his responsibility. Contractor says that okay, once I pay the amount, they have to be on their own. It's not my responsibility to provide a shelter or security to them. So if there is an accident or a death, there is no insurance. There were some schemes which completely failed. So while working, if I meet an accident, so I'm hospitalized, but I have to repay that amount by working next year. Or I have to make my children to work for me and that amount of sugarcane which I was supposed to cut, or any other family member has to replace me. Yeah. Now, that's something which I have reported in last 10 years continuously. Continuing with Lata's story, she had 5 pregnancies and she had abdominal pain. And when she told this to her husband, she was taken to hospital. And I'm using this word with responsibility. It has become a norm. If you go to a hospital and see there's abdominal pain, the first thing doctor is going to tell you, and this is what all these women have experienced all these years, that there's a possibility of a cancer and you have to go undergo hysterectomy surgery. There are hundreds and thousands of women in B district itself who have undergone hysterectomy surgeries, and many of them don't even have a single paper or hospital record to show what surgery was conducted and which part of their body was removed, was taken away. Whether it were just wombs, uterus, or it were ovaries. You will meet women at the age of 23 and 25 who have reached the menopause. Imagine what must be happening to her mental health, physical health, and how she's going to survive her entire life. When I reported this story in 2019, of course, I was not the first reporter to report it. Thanks to local reporters, they have been reporting, continuously raising this voice. But I wrote this series of stories, and I was insisting, highlighting that women have to pay fine even if they have to take a rest during menstrual cycles or even during their pregnancies. Uh, Next one. There was a response. What the government responded by appointing committee. There was parliamentary questions raised, question answer sessions, and SOPs were in place. The state government appointed a committee. Commission jumped into action. There were NGOs who conducted surveys. A lot of things happened. It was decided that okay, we are going to create a record. We are going to give identity cards. And actually, when identity cards were issued, the identity cards were again in the name of man in the family, and women was absent from those cards. Okay, even today these cards are being issued, but it's a useless exercise. It is not, does not work. What is the industry response? Industry in last 3 4 years has responded saying, that, okay, if this is a problem, we are going to promote mechanization of harvesting. We are going to bring more and more harvesters to cut sugarcane so that we don't need these women and men sugarcane cutters. We'll handle our problem. In fact, in last 2 3 sugarcane seasons, sugar mills, the apex body of sugar factories, in fact, brought these machines, harvesters from Tamil Nadu and other places to cut sugarcane when there was sugarcane glut in Maharashtra. Okay. So now, future is that sugar mills are saying that, okay, this is a problem. We have answer to this problem, and harvesters is the answer. We are going to promote mechanization. Um, and then what happens to these women and what happens to sugarcane cutters? Probably they will be left on their own feet. They have to take care of themselves. They have to decide what they want to do. This is a picture from a school in Bede where these girls are from sugarcane families. They have these aspirations. They want to get education. They want to free their parents from this bonded labor. Um, how they are going to fulfill their dreams and aspirations? Probably nobody has answers to this. Uh, these are the references, as I said. Next slide. I'll share links, the data which I shared with you. If you have any questions, we'll continue with question answers. I hope I was able to communicate what I wanted to. Yeah, thank you.
Mic system circulated. Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot for that, Radhesham. It was, I mean, I have no words to say anything. And you've been working on this for such a long time. So this kind of insight into a world that is, in a way, so close to us, but we have absolutely no clue. So thanks for giving us this insight. And yes, we'll open this up to questions. First, again, as always, everybody can maybe take a deep breath and think a bit. I know it's deeply moving and disturbing. But any questions, any thoughts, do feel free to ask. And we'll try and start with our students, and then we'll move towards the left side of the room for our guests and for our faculty members. Actually, okay if we all take a minute, at least. Nobody, and that's anybody here? Yeah. You had a question, ma'am? Yeah. If you can also introduce yourself. Yeah. And please come up with your questions, all right? Please think. Yeah. Yes, ma'am, please. Yeah. If you can also introduce yourself. So we all know. Have the
So,
mic. Yeah.
my name is Rimi. I'm doing a mid career PhD at the University of New South Wales on early age hysterectomies in India. Although my main field is Telangana. My main field is Telangana. Uh, it's a it's odd to say it's a pleasure to meet you after the content you just shared, but I've read most of your bylines already for my own research, and apart from the dire subject matter, it's actually a genuine pleasure to meet you in person. I had a very prosaic question. When these women go for hysterectomies, as I'm sure you know, in Telangana, insurance takes care of much of the costs, and the corruption is spearheaded by Arogyashri payouts. So, who bears the expenses in Maharashtra? And is there any incentivization on the medical corruption line in the same way that there is in Telangana? That's all.
Can we take a couple of questions? Sure. The lady there.
Hi. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah.
My question is just one.
You can also introduce yourself, please.
Yeah. So this is Namrata. I'm from HSS Department, Philosophy Discipline. My question is that, like I have heard from you a lot of facts about what is happening in the sugarcane field, and how women are struggling, they are being oppressed. But my question is why this is happening? Like, what is something that is causing this kind of oppression of sugarcane women, cutter women? Why, like, there is something changing in economy, or what is that? I just want to hear something.
We can take one more question this round. Yes, ma'am.
I have a report. It's fine.
No, please use the mic.
Okay. Hello. I actually belong to Satara, one of the others. So I grew up watching this reality as an outsider. We have a grocery shop in the village, and last 10-15 years, we have observed a pattern that these women are also highly addicted to alcohol, BDs, and powdered tobacco, which is referred to as mishery in that part. So the reason that cancer has been highlighted by doctors. So have you looked into it as a journalist? Have you observed that? Because we observed it a lot in last, especially 10-15 years. It's a way for them.
Can you also introduce yourself?
So my name is Pooja Kadam, and I'm from economics department.
You're studying here, you're teaching here?
Yes, I'm a PhD student here.
Great, thanks. Yeah, so maybe we can take these 3 questions and we go to the next round.
Yep.
The mic.
Yeah, let me to answer your question. So the mechanism here is that contractor takes responsibility not only to pay money but to also identify doctor. Okay, so if you can use the word nexus of a kind, so there are suggestions made to these women that this is a doctor, this is the address, and you will find many hospitals in Marathwada region where which are infamous for conducting hysterectomy surgeries. Yeah. So there's no mechanism as such, as you said in Telangana, which will take care of insurance schemes are there, but not for this particular thing. Namrata, you asked, where is Namrata? Yeah, Namrata, you asked question about operation. It's again my personal opinion, and from paradigm, the perspective I look through it, we try to understand the oppressive structure from androcentric perspective. That is the major and main cause these operations exist and prevail. That's what I think. The moment we move away from this androcentric perspective, male perspective, patriarchy, and try to understand, I'll not say feminist perspective, but with some other alternative perspectives and paradigms, probably we'll be able to understand oppressive structures and probably we'll be able to address these structures. Um, as you said, yeah, yes, this is the trail, but has nothing to do with the hysterectomy surgeries, abdominal cancer, right? So yes, these women are falling for these addictions, and also mental health is a major cause for concern. So the depression and mental health, nobody is going to go there to address these issues. So if you have a field visit and you will see hundreds and thousands of these women completely lost, right, and just groping in dark to find a way to live, to survive, to sustain. Yeah.
Yes, anybody else? Good, great. So we start with Shruti. Yeah.
Hello.
Then at the back and then we come this side. Yeah. Go ahead, Shruti. Please introduce yourself.
So hello, I am Shruti. Yeah. So I'm a first year student at Sitara. I have two questions. I have two questions. One, do you think that, no, I won't just say women, every laborer in this sugarcane industry is being exploited because other policies are not well executed there. They don't really are accessible to the other opportunities for working. That is my first question. And second, in terms of hysterectomy, I had read an article where, and Gujarat and um, a lot of states are I don't remember exact states, but a lot of states are going through hysterectomy, but it was not just rural, it was also urban. So my question is this just because of lack of education, like we're not openly talking about these operations and educating women about it? Is it because of that, or it's just restricted to rural? I wanted to understand that.
We can pass the mic. Maybe we can take this answer and we can go to the next question. You have a Shobhan question? Okay, so maybe quickly ask and then we can take them together.
I am Shobhan. I am MTech first year. My question is why these issues are not showing up in the media? I mean, as you said that the neither the government nor the media do they talk about it. So why is it the case? And what the central government or the state government has done? They have planned to do in this particular matter.
Maybe you can respond to these two. Then we go to the next one.
Shruti asked about the policies being executed. And what was the second part of the question?
Urban and rural.
Urban and rural. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Um, so when it comes to execution of policies, um, I remember I was just discussing with Hinay. So in 1827-30, Mahatma Jyotirao Phule used a word kalam kasai. Kalam kasai is a butcher who is holding pen and paper, right? So policies, when they are executed, then when they are implemented, these policies are um, not to facilitate things, but probably to create more and more hurdles. That's what I have observed. So, and who are the people who are making policies? Look at CSCP report. Look at the committee which decides CFRP, the price of sugarcane. Where are the farmers in policy making? Where are the sugarcane cutters when the policies are drafted? Policies are drafted in Delhi and Mumbai, and people who are working on the ground, they have nothing to do with policies and policy makers, right? So I think there's a huge chasm between people who are working on the ground and so-called policy makers, decision makers. And when it comes to hysterectomy surgeries, National Family Health Survey report, the latest report in FHS, the data will show you that the number of hysterectomy surgeries in these particular states like Telangana, Andhra, India, or some other states, and you can have a comparative analysis. The question is not about hysterectomy surgery. The question is about, in the name of hysterectomy surgery, the way these women are exploited, the way the nexus is working, the way malpractices are being carried out, and nobody's uh, taking action. Nobody's raising this voice. And Shubham asked, you asked why not media. Um, I don't know how long I'll be able to write and how long I'll be able to get the space to write these stories, and when this space is going to shut down, and where I'm going to write in future. I hope I answered this your question.
Please do introduce yourself.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, closer to your mouth. Yeah.
Hello. So my name is Kiran. I'm from ADCPS department. So my question is, if sugarcane workers are getting exploited, then who do we consider, or who are these people who are exploiting sugarcane workers? If we consider mukaddamas or contractors, even they are mediators. Like there are some limitations that we can hold them responsible for it. And then the thing remains is the sugarcane factory. If we have to consider, or if we have to hold them responsible, so what are those things that we can put them at the center? Sugar mills. And also the future of mechanization, like how long you can see it, 1 decade or 2 decades. And if you allow me another question, like there is this consent, these people are getting migrating on their own consent. So how can you differentiate between consent and coercion? Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? There are only 3 questions. Okay. We'll come to you. After this round, the next round is this side of the room. Yeah. Please do introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Divyansh Dharmak. My name is Divyansh Dharmak. I am Satara MTech first year. My question is: are all laborers exploited in like this? Laborers are exploited in other states as well, or majorly in Maharashtra? And if it is only in Maharashtra majorly, then why?
Yeah, so Kiran, the first question you asked, who is responsible for this? And can we put sugar mills at the center of the exploitation circle? That's what sugar mills are saying. We are not responsible. They are in no man's land, right? Sugar mills are saying they're not our responsibility. Government is saying that nothing to do with them. Upadams are saying they are just mediators, as you rightly said. We just pay advance. We are not forcing them. It's up to them whether they want to work or they don't want to work. Um, so, as I said, they are nobody's responsibility, right? Because labor laws are not applicable. Um, Other daily wage laws which are on paper are not applicable. So it's on the whims and fancies of the sugar barons. And most importantly, if you track the flow of money, sugar money, which goes into state politics, just go through the list of member of parliaments and elected members in state assembly, and you will find that almost all of them have their sugar mills, the private sugar mills or cooperative sugar mills. And of course, liquor is a byproduct, which is becoming main product and which is being promoted. Um, but at the same time, as I said, uh, these are the people on whose shoulders this entire thing stands, but they are in no man's land. The second question you asked about mechanization, my observation on field is that the apex body, the Sugar Federation, is going to push mechanization as fast as possible. There will be more and more harvesters coming this season as well. Just observe this season and you'll realize. Of course, they need lot of adjustment when it comes to plantation and when it comes to harvesting sugarcane, because in Western Maharashtra, we have small and marginal farmers compared to other parts of Maharashtra. So using these big machines, huge machines, becomes a problem, but they are finding solutions. Um, and third part, uh, consent and caution. You don't have to categorize, right? You create a situation where it looks like a consent, but it's actual situation where you don't have any other option than to go and cut sugarcane. Yeah. Uh, no, to be very frank, my exposure and my fieldwork is just restricted to Maharashtra and some parts of North Karnataka. But when it comes to unorganized labor, I think situation remains the same across country or in any other field, not only uh, sugarcane. So hardly you will see any movement which is going on when it comes to unorganized labor or farmer movement is doesn't even exist now. It exists in bits and bits across the state and some parts of Uttar Pradesh. So there is no unison or huge farmer movement as such to raise these issues when it comes to unorganized labor or even workers in that case.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Dindi. I'm a faculty in Sitara. My question is on the part on the slide where you mentioned about sexual violence and sexual exploitation. So I just wanted to understand, like during your entire work, could you have a dialogue with the commissions, like Women and Child Commission, human rights, law enforcers, if they could intervene and sort of have a legal interventions in this? I just wanted to understand if you could explore that.
Yeah. The sexual abuse and sexual exploitation and structural sexual violence are the things which never come on record. So even when Women's Commission was interviewing these women, uh, these things never came on record, right? But again, it's about, as I said, it's the androcentric perspective which we have, that we create a situation where women's entire character is around her body, right? And one part of our body which is sacred, which we don't talk much. Even menstrual cycles are not discussed, even in so-called educated families. Yeah. So when it comes to sexual exploitation and sexual violence, these cases never come on record. And believe me, there are hundreds and thousands of cases if you dig deep into this. And most importantly, the culprits uh, roam around free, they're scot free.
So, just following up on this. So, can you So just following up on this, so the sexual violence, is it contained only to women or it goes beyond gender or beyond like men, children? Are they also exploited? Could you investigate on that?
Girl child is more vulnerable compared to these women. So if families, I was discussing in the slide that child marriages, you can see the spike in number of child marriages before sugarcane season. Uh, the number of girls who have witnessed or who have undergone sexual exploitation and sexual abuse is huge, right? So if parents decide to leave these girls at home, it is mostly people whom the family knows who will take advantage, and then they take the girls to place where they're going to cut sugarcane. Then the village goons and the local bigwigs um, are the main culprits. And of course, you can't raise voice and um, register a complaint against them. So the girls, the minor girls, are more vulnerable compared to other uh, categories of workers.
Also, like she was asking, beyond women, men, children. I mean, have you also seen those?
Yes, yes,
It's not just
yeah.
restricted to.
It's not restricted to women. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So first time I am seeing a Ramnath Goenka journalist in front of my eyes. So such a pleasure. So I really like that Deepa's uh, buying a sari as a resilience. So I like to understand like what are their escape? Like they are working 17, 18 hours every day. So how they are like what are their the lady workers entertainment and all this kind of thing. Thank you.
Hello, am I audible? I'm Abhishek. I'm joined from Zoom. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead. Could
Yeah.
you also introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm Abhishek Bhosle. I'm researcher at SOAS University of London. First, thanks to Radheshyam for this insightful presentation and Sitara for organizing this seminar, which is quite relevant and very important issue ongoing in Maharashtra. My question to Radheshyam is around advocacy on these issues. As per my understanding, sugar industry or sugar sector or sugar economy is one of the sector in Maharashtra where unions are powerful. Generally, in this month only we will see they are negotiating with the government. They are negotiating for the wages and other rights of the sugarcane cutter workers. And parallelly, NGOs are also playing a crucial role in bids. So, what patterns or approaches Radhesham have observed while working on this issue? How unions are building struggle around this issue, specifically the gender, reproductive rights, and NGOs are doing the same kind of work in bid. So, are the unions are is it the failure of unions, and that's why NGOs are increasing in Marathwada specifically who are tackling this issue as addressing this issue. So actually what's going on at the NGO and union level and how they are building advocacy for this group.
We'll finish this and then come to you, Pradeep. Maybe these two sets of questions, Radhesham.
What would be entertainment when you're working for 18 hours? Uh, There's no entertainment. Life itself is a trial, right? Um, Abhishek, answering your question, um, yes, there are unions, but even my question is, um, who are the people who are representing sugarcane cutters in these unions? So when they go to the government and sugar mills for discussions, hardly any sugarcane cutter makes even forget a sugarcane cutter. Any daily wage laborer in any commission, has he or she ever raised her voice, or that space has been created? I don't think so. So these unions which are working, of course, they are powerful, Abhishek, as you said, but at the same time, they are focusing on wages, not on reproductive health, not on work hours, or not even on the basic rights like having toilets or having sanitary napkins and drinking water in place and safe accommodation. So their focus is on wages. And again, remember, uh, as far as I'm aware, these unions comprise of representatives from transporting community, the tractor owners, and also sugarcane cutters. There is no sugarcane cutters union as such, which negotiates for wages. And when it comes to NGOs, of course, there are some NGOs working in Marathwada region. Um, and also these NGOs have conducted some important surveys which government was supposed to do. Government should have done that, but these NGOs are working on the ground, and this issue has been kept alive by the NGOs. And these are small NGOs, but very influential NGOs working on the ground in Marathwada region. Abhishek, hope I answered your question.
Yes, Radheshyam, yes. Thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Abhishek. Yeah, Pradeep, you had a question?
Hello. Hello, am I audible? Hello, sir. My name is Pradeep Kumar. I am first year MTech student. So my question is mechanization is only answer to this problem? And I think uh, if we see more precisely, the main issue of this woman problem is gender inequality in uh, society, or more precisely in family, because her husband is treating her so badly, as you saw us now. Uh, so what do you think after farm mechanization, will they be escape from this problem after mechanization or not?
Yeah, maybe we can take that question. Nothing else. You have a question? Okay. Maybe Reshma, a second question, and then together. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Reshma. I'm a PhD student at Sitara. Actually, I have a couple of small questions adding to his question ahead. That, as he mentioned, like after mechanization, won't they be? Uh, I mean, is there any? You have seen a lot, and you while you're reporting, and then the question is more of an open-ended question. Nobody can give a right answer to it, but the what could be a way out if not mechanization, and without them having to lose their livelihoods? What could be the way out? Have you given it a thought? And if you can think of anything, then another question is like, is there at least one exception of a where a woman or a sugarcane cutter who could escape this vicious circle? Have you come across any exception like that? And another is, as a journalist covering such an intense issue for over a long time, like how it has affected you. That's it. Yeah.
So then to answer your question, with mechanization is the answer. Again, truth is a perspective, right? There is no one single truth. So if I'm a sugar mill owner, probably the answer is yes. There is a way to go forward, and we need more and more machines and harvesters. If I'm a sugarcane cutter, probably the big question I'm facing is that what after this? What I'm going to do? What are the sources of livelihood? How it is going to affect my families? And if I'm educating my children, what will happen to them if I'm not getting any job. Um, Gender equality, I'll not say gender equality, I'll say gender equity. Okay. So, as I said, uh, we need to build this perspective from childhood. We need to incorporate health education and sex and gender education in our school curriculum. Every time you meet a girl, you don't have to scan her body. We need to teach our sons, our boys, how to behave. A basic sense. Forget androcentric perspective and other things. This is something which we need to start from before we start talking about gender equality and equity and other things. So the androcentric perspective when it comes to policy making, when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to religion, when it comes to value, morals, ethics, rules, laws, institutions, everywhere you will witness this. And we need to address it one by one. Um, and we need to change this perspective, not only for women sugarcane cutters, but overall women as a whole. Um, Reshma, to answer your question, as I said, mechanization is the answer. They will push for that. What is the way out? There are some examples, very rare examples, but with very limited options. These women are trying to do something in their own fields. Some of the women who have come out of this vicious cycle have migrated to cities in Pune, in my city. You will have Madhur Adda. Every morning, there will be hundreds of men and women standing there looking for a job, for a work. Um, they work as housemates. Um, they do some petty jobs in cities and towns. They have to migrate. Living in the villages, probably they are not going to find the answer. Now, this mm, I'm not debating, just a food for thought. Think of two models of development. Development again is a contentious issue. There's a Gandhian model of development, go to villages, and there's an Ambedkarite model of development where he says move to cities. So uh, I think that yes, they are trying the best, but again, what they are going to do with the fields without irrigation and water, and what happens to irrigation, we all know. Whose land is acquired and who gets the water, um, and who are the people who are left without any compensation. We have witnessed this history since independence. Um, yeah, this question is asked as a journalist how it affects you. Uh, it affects you. It's not just a story that you report and move out. If you follow one topic continuously, of course, your newspaper is not going to publish the stories again and again. You have to look for new stories, right? But then uh, you build a connect, you get involved into a lot of issues. Um, it's not an ideal situation. So after covering one story, I called my editor and I said that I'm not able to write anything about this. And my editor said that it's not your job to get whatever happens to the life. Just write a story. You're getting a byline for that. It's a page one story. It affects you. You have to deal with that emotionally, mentally. Um, it's very exhaustive. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. Hello, sir. Myself, Jan Mandi. I'm a PhD student. Uh, my doubt is regarding the NGO that you mentioned. How exactly is this NGO fighting for these labors? Are they legally fighting for it, or are they just reporting the issues that are happening there? That is, and followed by that, when you said at a policy level, I just checked, I may be wrong. There is Article 23, which prohibits all forms of forced labor, in which there are some subdivisions of it where it can be categorized as probably forced labor. Article 39A 39E, which states that a directive principle of state policy that emphasizes that the health and strength of workers, including men, women, and children, should not be abused. And then there is Article 43 as well, which states for providing proper working conditions, living wages, and a decent standard of living for workers. So now the question is, the policy level is already in place somewhere. If these statements are there, the whole point is who's fighting for it. So are these NGOs fighting for it? First, second thing is there some kind of movement that would happen? One escape, as you said, is going for housemaid kind of works, but again, someone is replacing them and someone else is getting exploited. So how can they be mobilized? They be empowered, and that's the only way how this can be fought against, I believe. So yeah.
Okay, there's a second question here. Please introduce yourself and then.
Hello. Yeah. So I'm Sahiti. I'm take first year from Sitara. So my question was, like you said just now, that we need to raise our boys with morals and ethics. So I wanted to ask, did you see this kind of awareness in young boys in those villages? And are women in those villages being able to teach them or no show them that kind of perspective?
But to answer your questions, yes, policies are there, laws are there, um, uh, machinery is there. Who's going to implement that, right? And who is going to question the people who are who's who in this entire mechanism? As I said, the lawmakers themselves are sugar mill owners, right? Um, Again, when it comes to intersectionality, when it comes to sex, when it comes to gender, when it comes to caste, all these hierarchy are going to reflect and going to play a role. So yes, Article 23, 39E, everything is in place. It remains on paper and not on the ground. These NGOs are not legally fighting, as far as I know, but they are at least bringing this issue to the fore by conducting surveys, countering the government's argument, the argument which government tries to build that this is nothing of this kind is happening. These people are organizations like Makam are at least raising this question. See, in a situation where everything is still uh, raising question, at least raising question becomes the most important thing. But at least acknowledging that these people exist, acknowledging that these problems, these issues exist. We have to start with acknowledgement and then we can proceed further. Uh, okay. You asked about the awareness in villages. I want to have a counter question. There are boys around you. How much awareness you have seen in these boys?
Suppose a guy who grew up in a family where there was domestic violence and he sees his
Yeah.
father beating his mother.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll grow out of it and he'll
Yeah.
treat women right in
Yeah.
his life in future, right?
Yeah.
So is that kind of, do the young boys have that kind of awareness toward the oppression, about the oppression that women have in their villages?
Yeah. Yeah. That should be the natural answer. You answer this question. Do you think that the young boys in these families who have witnessed this, are going to be aware of gender and sex and equity? Yeah. Yeah. I think that we need to build that system from households to education system. We need to bring this, put this in place.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, you have a question there. Okay. Maybe the last question. Anybody else? You also have that. Okay. Yeah. We'll do stress and then we'll come to. Maybe Amit, we can keep the last question. You also have question.
Hello, sir. So I'm Shreyas Kusur, MTech second year Sitara. My question relates more to the education side of it. You had shown a picture of their children going to school, but you also mentioned they migrate for 6 months in a year. So the schools, like, do they still be enrolled in the schools, or do they shift to employment and join their parents in the employment? And just a follow up to this would be, after doing the schooling, when they are somewhat aware, like, I would not really praise the education system, but they will be more aware of other employment opportunities. Why do they still pursue this? Like,
Hi, I'm Amit, faculty at Sitara. So my question relates to, so I understand now that mechanization is going to happen soon. So essentially what we are doing is we are changing the goalpost. So problem we are, I think just, there is a transformation of one form into another form, but problem remains. Now what I try to understand in this whole thing is, do you see any role of Narega in this? Do you see any positive changes because of it? I know Nigeria has its own issues, hundreds of issues. But in this context, does it serve the purpose in whatever capacity it can? Thank you.
Yeah, so there were efforts on the government's front to start Sakar schools, what we say, sugar schools. So when this parents migrated to a place sugarcane cutting, there was a provision that these kids could be admitted in the local school. That was the provision was made. Also, government initiated construction of hostels in Marathwada region where these parents can keep their children. But it is not actually working on the ground. On paper, it's working. Funds are being released, but actually, it doesn't happen. And most of the children, boys and girls, ultimately join their parents in sugarcane cutting. So, Lata's example, we were witnessing at the age of 13, she was married, and immediately when she was married, the same day or same year, her husband signed a contract with sugarcane Mukadam so that they can work together. Before that, as a child, she never went into school. She never has even seen what school means in her life, and that cycle continues. Amit, answering your question is a good question. Narega, uh, what is happening with Narega at the grassroots level is that um, contractors have taken over Narega in many places. So the local Gram Panchayat office is not even ready to put works on shelf. In the sense, they're not ready to issue work orders. Okay. I have reported a story where all the job cards in Narega were collected by the contractor. Not only job cards, but also ATM cards of these women were collected by the contractor. And then the work, he did all the work using machinery, and he withdrew all the money, and he gave some 100 to 100 rupees to these women. That is one thing. But there's also other side of the story. There are women farmers, women workers in Vidarbha and Marathwada region who are collectively fighting against this corrupt system, and they are insisting that work orders should be issued. Then the Gram Sevak and the local politicians, what they do is that in one case they decided, okay, you want Narega work, so go and dig wells, do that work. So they have to continuously agitate to assert their right to work under Narega. Um, Also, the wages under Narega, which these women get, and the amount which they get in sugarcane cutting is like there's a huge gap in that. So that's what attracts them to sugarcane cutting when working on Narega.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any last
Yeah.
minute, a couple of minutes, you want to say anything that you might have missed, or after the conversation, you feel you want to say anything?
Just try to go to the field, try to meet the people, be empathetic. Whenever you have sugarcane, whenever you see sugarcane field, eat sweets, just remember what we discussed.
Can we give a big round of applause to that? I think it's one of the most thoughtful and deeply evocative presentation that we've had in our seminar series, at least since I've been here at Sitara. Thank you so much, Radheshyam, for challenging us, for informing us, for also evoking a whole bunch of emotions and thoughts. I'd like to request my colleague Dindi to come and give a small token of our appreciation. This is a handloom woven scarf from an organization in Andhra, Telangana, called Dastakar Andhra. Please. Whichever way, you can come in the front so we can get a good picture. Or you want to say anything, Andy? You want to say a word or two? Yeah, please. Fantastic.
Thank you for your insightful words, and also your experience was, I'd say, an eye opener for us. And many times we just eat good and so many rasgullas and stuff, but we never thought like there's a whole story behind it. And surely for me, I think it has really encouraged me to see beyond our work and how people do get exploited and are troubled and have a lot of disparities. And I think through our research, we can research and our academics also, as we teach the students, I think we can make a difference. Thank you for coming today. And thank you. Yeah.
So Gaurav keeps scolding me after every seminar that you don't announce the next one. So to all the Sitara people, of course, you have no choice, but all our guests this time, many have come. Next time we have another very interesting seminar from a completely different part of the country, which we often don't get to hear from, which is from the Eastern Himalayas. And we have Mashkara Faridi, who is the founder and a CEO of a Darjeeling-based organization called Eastern Himalayan Foundation. We'll send out the details. She'll be speaking on a topic of dealing with the challenges of the Eastern Himalayas. She does some very interesting work, particularly with youth in the Eastern Himalayas. So next Tuesday, 5:30, please do come. And we are now starting to also stream this online. So again, campus people can't sit in their rooms and watch online, but please spread the word so people outside of campus are able to listen to some of these absolutely fascinating and insightful talks. So thank you again, Radheshyam, and thanks everybody. See you next Tuesday at 5:30. Thank you.